In the world of gaming, the players mainly have two separate but equally desirable experiences. One is through computational devices, taking input through buttons, joysticks, and mice, and is displayed on a screen. The other is on paper and cardboard, with dice, plastic pieces, and pencils on a table. We represent both. I'm Not Much 23,
And I'm ChoasAssassin.
and this is Gamer Experience.
So today we have a friend of mine and technically the child of a friend of mine as well joining us today. Emrys, say hello.
Hello.
He's here to join us today. One, because, we needed a podcast idea of some sort because life's been pretty crazy for me. I don't know much. Has it been real crazy for you? Not much.
Not as crazy.
But came up with one literally 5 minutes before recording this of what gamers look for in games. And due to the fact of, well, Not Much and I are old, hey, I know a small child who plays video games, so thought, hey, what do gamers look for among the ages? And do we have anything that overlaps as far as why we make games? Or play games. Yeah, play games, not make games. Wish we made games, we'd make money.
Yeah, but one thing I usually like to ask our guests, no matter how old or young they are, what kind of experience do you have with gaming? Not just video games, but maybe like board games or even tabletop role-playing games.
My gaming experience with some gaming is honestly sometimes chaotic and sometimes is manageable, but it can also be fun
I think he more meant of, how long have you been gaming?
for kind of my whole life. Ever since,
Ever since you could hold a controller?
yeah.
What was the first game that you played?
I can't rightly remember the game name, but it would.
What system was it on? Do you remember?
Not really. Well, no. It would have to be on the PlayStation 3, and it would be the Lego Movie game.
Oh, Lego movie game. All right.
That's a solid start.
Yeah, PlayStation 3, the Lego movie game, real good for an intro.
Yeah.
What do you play primarily?
I'm primarily play Pokemon games now and try and get a lot better at trying to make a Pokemon deck, and I have a really solid electric deck.
Oh, so you also play the Pokemon TCG as well.
Yes.
And I know you play Magic because you've played it with me, or at least learning it. Do you have any tabletop experience?
Yes, I have played D&D and knocked a goblin's face off like a baseball with an axe.
Well, that checks out. Goblins are squishy enough to turn their heads into baseballs. Rather large baseballs, but yeah, baseballs nonetheless.
But my experience with gaming has really gone far.
For your age, at least.
Yes.
It's not bad.
But to get into our topic, what do you look for when you want to play a game?
What I look for to play a game is how the game reacts to my controls and how well I can control the character.
So you look for more of the interactive aspect of it, more so than, say, like story or music or plot?
More than less.
Interesting way of looking at video gaming.
Yeah.
Do you prefer things that are more immersive, that have like good character creation and ways that you can really get into the character? Or do you prefer things that have like basic character creation as far as like what games do you like? Because I know Pokemon, only a few of them have actual character creation.
Yeah.
So what exactly about that draws those games to you?
It's the immersive type of games that really draw you into it and actually are able to see how things are going.
So you like more immersion.
Yes.
So a role player.
I can really understand that.
Yeah. What about you? Not much. What do you look for when making games or playing games? Damn, I am terrible today.
I honestly have a fascination for the mundane and actually like building things. Except I don't really like Minecraft because that's too much construction. But I like simulators. I like constructing things, watching them work, and then adjusting them. That's why I like Factorio so much. However, there are some things that stress me out. Like, especially in like first-person shooters and action RPGs, the real possibility of getting surprised. And not a good surprise either, which is why I don't like Satisfactory, even though it's a lot like 3D Factorio.
So you don't like jump scares.
Oh, I really hate jump scares.
So never played the game called Outlast Trials.
Wouldn't think well on my radar anyways.
I'd say for me, it's more of, can I get out of my own head? So similar to like with Emerus, I like immersion, but I also have that, I love nostalgia. I love playing old school games. Like right now I'm going through a rival challenge with one of my friends in Pokemon Black and White, where every gym, after the gym, we battle each other. But
Oh.
I also love playing like Gauntlet Legends because it's just nostalgia for me.
I mean, a good game is a good game no matter when it was made.
Like Skyrim.
Yeah. And
Hence why they still re-release it for the umpteenth time, still making money. It's just that good of a game.
but if they want to make something new, then you get shit like Starfield.
Or things that are so good and that they get overhyped and it turns into a flop, like Borderlands 3. I'm sorry, it's just, that's just one of those games. I was really looking forward to it. I loved Borderlands 2. That's what I got into when getting into the Borderlands series. Played Borderlands 1 some, still haven't beaten it. Tried Borderlands 3 and I didn't like it. It didn't have that same aspect that really grabbed me. And speaking of Borderlands, the Borderlands movie's coming out here in a few weeks, and I'm looking forward to that actually.
Are we going to have to do an episode about video games and board games making the jump into like movies and TV shows?
If we're gonna do that, we need to get Preston back on. Him and I have had this conversation before, and I would love to get him back on the podcast for that kind of an episode.
I don't blame you.
Because I'm sorry, there are some games that I'm sorry, their movie adaptations pretty good. Others, not so much.
Yeah, I guess pretty good would be Honor Among Thieves, and not so much would be like the first Super Mario Brothers movie.
Yep. And then there's some that they're just weird on the scale, like Assassin's Creed. I'm sorry, I actually really liked that movie. It brought an interesting aspect to it. I would have loved for them to have continued, but it didn't go well with other critics. So that's just one of those things that we'll definitely bring that up in the next time we can maybe talk to Preston about making that another episode, because I would love to actually really delve into that. What are things that turn us away from video games? Not much.
Trying to think. Well, since I play a lot of simulators and stuff, I mean, unrealistic physics and depictions don't really pull me out as much as like absurdly unrealistic or inconsistent.
No, you say that. My first thought is, don't you have a glitch or something in Thrillville?
Or you mean Roller Coaster Tycoon?
Yeah, Roller Coaster Tycoon. Sorry.
Yeah, but that's a bug, a consistent bug.
So there is consistency.
Yes.
All right. What about you, Emers? What turns you away from video games?
I'd have to say the art and how consistent it is to have fun. It's mainly about the fun you can have with the game, and the art. It have to be a good set of art that is put into the game, and it really just has to have some time and energy to really draw me in.
Do you have any suggestions of games that you just don't want to play because you just don't like the art style?
Not off the top of my head, but there's quite a few games that on
You just know that they're just meh.
yeah, it's well, un Sonic Colors Ultimate, its art design is phenomenal. Don't get me wrong. It's just all of the storyline doesn't fit together as much.
But you're still willing to play it because the artwork's good.
Yes.
So is that something that you would say, as long as the artwork's good enough, as long as it's got a half decent story, you'd still play it?
Yes.
That's an interesting outlook. For me, I never really look at the artwork of the video games as far as that. But like best example I have for games that I play that have multiple different types of art styles would be Zelda. My favorite, primarily due to the music score, is Twilight
Twilight
Princess. We
Princess.
talked about that in our
Gaming
music,
music.
but artwork wise, I've got to say it's probably one of my favorites, artwork wise as well, because it seems more realistic ish, more so than some of the others.
But one thing I have to say about like quote unquote realistic graphics is that they tend to not stand up nearly as well over time.
Yeah.
Like look at like PS1 and PS2 games that at the time we thought, "Oh, those are so realistic." And now you look back it's like, "Ew."
Yeah. I actually have to fix my television because it doesn't want to show the graphics properly for some of my older games on like the N64. It's hilarious. There are some newer TVs that you can't even plug an N64 into. It won't register, even if you get the adapters.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. I didn't know that.
Emerus, have you actually like played some older games like made before your time?
I have actually.
I was kicking his butt in Pokemon Stadium a few weeks ago.
No, I never played
I thought we were playing
Stadium.
Pokemon Stadium.
No, Gabe was.
Oh, that's right. Your brother got his ass handed to him. Sorry.
But actually made my brother rage quit in the wrestling game you have.
Oh, that's right. Y'all, they were playing SmackDown versus Raw 2008 featuring the ECW, and they actually really liked it.
And I actually have a PlayStation 1 at my house, just a really small version.
Oh, the
So
PS1 Mini or Slim or
Yeah.
whatever.
Is it the mini or is it the slim? Is it one of the reboots?
I'm not sure, but it's smaller than the original. That's all
Okay.
I ironically know. But I've also played some of that one as well. And the graphics just didn't look completely right to me, so I haven't gone back to it quite yet.
He's too used to the Roblox stuff.
Yeah, that's again making my point where those were amazing graphics back then. They just don't stand up nearly as well.
I don't see the flaws in them, but I think that's more of like there's nostalgia talking. I really do.
Yeah. However, the art in the 8 and 16-bit games stands up a lot better today.
Which is funny because of just how old they are.
Yeah.
I actually recently found something. Speaking of old games, they put a game harder than Dark Souls on the PS5. Can you believe that?
Super Ghouls and Goblins?
No, Oregon Trail.
You can also get that on the Nintendo Switch.
Yeah, that's right. And there's a DLC for it now. Hear that, folks? Let's go back to our childhood playing Oregon Trail. This time with DLC. What? No. Like,
I mean, what's the DLC? Donner Pass?
I don't know. I think it's new diseases and stuff.
Instead of dying of dysentery, they can die of cholera.
Or something. I don't know, but I was looking at that, talking with a GameStop employee. It's like, yeah, they even added some DLC, and just like, I'm sorry, what? It's like, yeah, apparently they made new content for it.
God.
Is that just a cash grab at this point, or like, why?
It depends on the content.
I want to get it just for the fact of I can troll my friends saying, "Hey, I got a game harder than Dark Souls. You want to try it?" Boots up Oregon Trail, hands on the controller. It's Oregon. Just to see them sit there and struggle to get to Oregon. Like, I find it hilarious that more and more of the games that, you and I grew up on are being found and revamped for, Emeris's generation of gaming. Most people didn't remember Pokemon Snap until it came out for the Switch, which honestly, I'm great port to it. I would have thought Wii U would have been good, but honestly, the Switch was good choice.
But Emerus, I'm kind of
Yeah.
curious. What have you noticed, like, different between, like, the nostalgic games you've played and games you play, like, that are made much more recently?
Other
The
than graphics.
Yeah, other than graphics, that's obvious.
Yeah, but what I've noticed with that is some of the mechanics in the game make it a lot more difficult than newer games. Newer games try to have it be easier for the not trying to be rude or anything for anyone else that's easily hurt, but for the snowflakes that are in this generation. Because sometimes it's the game's supposed to be hard. It's not supposed to be easy. But nowadays kids don't get that. They just want everything to be easy. They just want it to be how they want it to be.
I've even noticed in Pokemon, these new games, they don't feel like what I grew up with Pokemon. They're too easy. They really
One
are.
one game I really like in that aspect though is like Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2. Yes, the main sort of story and quest wasn't that hard, but if you want to get every single star, you better get good, scrub.
Mm-hmm. But that's the thing I don't like with some games is some of the requirements to 100% it, like even though they're hard, you have to do certain things in very specific ways. Unless you have a guide to it, you can't get it. Whereas in older games, you could more easily 100% a game. But, now there are games that punish you for trying to 100% it, like finding all of the Korok seeds in, Breath of the Wilds.
Oh, yeah.
Here's a golden pile of dung.
Because you're crap for trying to 100% the game.
Yeah. All you really need to do is find like 200 and you had more than enough to do anything you needed in the game. Because all it ever did was open up more slots for you.
Yeah.
What are some of the older games that you like the artwork and art style of, Emerus?
Some of the older games, they would have to be the Pokemon games and some of the Sonic games.
3D or
Don't get me
2D?
wrong,
That was my next question.
more than likely 2D because the pixelated Sonic and Pokemon and Mario games are fantastic. The mechanics are not that difficult and you can easily 100% the game
Yep.
if you get good.
Yeah. It's that's part of like the nostalgia, and those are games that they will stand the test of time.
Again, making my point versus like pixelated graphics and low poly PS1 graphics and how they
But
stand up over
that's
time.
what we're expecting with those games. We're expecting them to have the 2D 64-bit or 8 or whatever. We're expecting bad graphics for them. But is it really bad graphics, or is it that was the limitations at the time and they're just that good of games that is it our nostalgia?
And I think Emers is kind of proving that it's not just our nostalgia. A good game is a good game forever.
That's fair. It's very much fair.
Which is why I'm glad we actually got a NES in our shed. I'll have to pull it out sometime and recap it.
You actually have an NES?
Yeah,
I've been seeing all sorts of games for the NES at pawn shops and stuff, but I
I
don't own one, so I haven't been acquiring them.
yeah, actually we have a few games. Among them is actually Super Mario Brothers 3.
Oh wow,
Yeah. I have to bring that over sometime.
definitely. We talked about what we like about games and what draws us to them. Talk about what we dislike. Let's see, games that we grew up with. I mean, I grew up with the original Pokemon games. what are some of the games that you've really grown up with, Emrys?
Some of the games I've really grown up with is also some Pokemon games, but also
What
most
Pokemon games did you really remember playing as you were getting older? Which is funny for me to ask due to the fact that his parents are like you and I, not much, and they play older games and they've shown him older games. But like, what is the first Pokemon game you remember actually, seeing come out?
seeing come out wise, it'd have to be something. I can't really remember the name, but some of the I can't even remember the name.
That's fair.
But
Do you remember some of the Pokemon in there?
Not like we don't have a Pokedex sitting on the podcast.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, Emrys, you are talking right next to a living Pokedex.
With Pokemon posters on the wall as we speak. One of which being literally the most up to date that I own.
one that was more or less like an older one before the newest ones that
So you
come out.
so a remake.
Yes.
Which remake?
More than likely, Shining Pearl and Brilliant Diamond. I know that's not the oldest remake that has been made, but that's the oldest
So
one that I can think
so
of.
that he remembers the Diamond and Pearl remakes. Which I would have thought you no. Pretty sure because the last remakes were Alpha Sapphire and Omega Ruby.
I don't think I grew up when they came out, unless they came out on an older system, which
Which would have been the 3DS.
So yeah, no, I don't think I'd be. I wouldn't grow up with that.
It's not that. Are we that old? Not much. Holy shit! I feel old.
My first Pokemon game, I still remember when I got it, was Pokemon Red for the original Game Boy.
What's funny? My first Pokemon game was Yellow.
Like, I remember Mom coming home. We lived in a little north of Indianapolis at the time. She tossed on me. It's like, thanks, but don't I need a Game Boy to play this? Like, and I got my sister's old Game Boy. It's not like the original gray. It's when it was black, but otherwise, yeah, it's like the first Game Boy because she got a Game Boy Color.
Yeah, I still want the Game Boy Color my dad has. And you send him a text saying, "Hey, I know what I want for my birthday. A Game Boy Color, damn it." So the Game Boy Color my dad has is the Game Boy Color Silver Pikachu Pichu edition.
Ooh, I bet that's valuable.
I don't care about the value of it. I care about the fact that that's the first Game Boy I held. He still has the Game Boy I played Yellow on.
Wow.
First Pokemon game I ever beat, though, was Pearl.
Oh, you didn't beat Yellow?
No, I was too young. I couldn't get past Surge.
Oh.
The first one I actually beat was Pearl, which is funny because Cynthia is hard to fight. I raged quit and broke my first DS because of her, because she got too many crits in a row.
Ooh.
I raged and I just snapped my DS in half, which was an issue that they had with the DS. I don't do that anymore. I just snap controllers in half.
And they're not the Mad Catz controllers, are they?
No, they're the PlayStation controllers. The ones that are $70 a pop.
Ooh, boy. Yeah, that can get real expensive real quick. Almost.
I literally still have one of the broken ones as a reminder. Hey, don't do that again. That costs money. And I'm broke.
I understand completely.
I still find it funny the fact that we only have a few more episodes before the end of season 3, and we are going to be starting on season 4 of this podcast.
Yeah, 4 more episodes. Regular episodes.
Yeah, which means we've been doing this for 3 years now.
That's really hard to believe.
Yeah, feel like we've done it longer, but at the same time not. It's really weird because we only have this episode 8 of season 3, so we have 24, 25, 33 episodes technically.
Yeah, and season 1 was a little short too.
That's right, it was, because we started it a few months after the start of the year, didn't we?
Yeah,
Amazing how time flies.
yeah. Seems like that's about the end of the episode, which this one
Huh?
will probably be a little shorter, which is a good thing because I need to. I don't have
Edit it
much.
and get it out.
Yeah, because I don't have much time.
And that's my fault, and I am sorry.
Life happens though.
Yeah.
But one thing Lord Greyhawk pointed out is that there's far more options in second edition Pathfinder than you thought there were.
Oh, with the new books and everything that have been coming out, I don't doubt it. I haven't really been keeping up to date with it because I don't have time for it. But I do appreciate that he's letting us know and fact checking us.
Yes.
I'd like to play, more games, but schedule and gas and money is troublesome.
Yeah. Fortunately, I'm actually going to be starting my first home Starfinder game properly.
Oh, well, hopefully you have fun with that. Good luck.
Thank you.
If you need bullshit encounters, then don't hesitate to ask,
Oh,
because I've got all sorts. I'm actually going to be throwing one at my party, and
yeah.
it's going to be fun.
Okay, well, I think that's about gonna do it. Thank you, Emerus, for your unique perspective.
Yeah, thank you for agreeing to join the podcast and give us your input as far as like what you look for in video games, being much younger than me.
Mhm. No problem.
And I'm not much 23.
And I'm Chaos Assassin.
This is Gamer Experience.
We invite you to have your own gamer experience. Have any questions, stories, or anything, you can email us at gamersperience@gmail.com.
All
Right?
lowercase, or
Yeah.
send us a direct message on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Gamer Experience, all lowercase.
We also have YouTube and Discord that you can find us in.
And we look forward to reading or hearing from you.
Indeed, we do.